Exactly. Let's go. So hello everyone, it's Salvies and I'm back for yet another video, and I hope you guys are having a great time and welcome back to my channel, to my new subscribers and my old subscribers. I have a video for you guys today, and it's an interesting one because of the title. So for some reason an American well, he's a Caucasian American. I think he lives in the Philippines, and he has this video called 12 Ways the Philippines is Better Than America. So when I saw the title, you guys know I don't do videos like this. I just stepped away from it because as an American, I know, like, I'm happy to be an American. I'm proud to be an American. I'm humbled, let's put it that way, and I wouldn't want to change my nationality for any other nationality.
I'm just saying.
So I want to see this video. Like, I'm scared. Okay.
I'm not gonna go to prison for it. Hey guys, I'm David DeMuzio.
I'm Rachel Hemphill.
I was born and raised in the US, but I've spent a lot of the last 10 years living in and visiting the Philippines.
So I was also born and raised in the States. My mom is Filipino and my dad is American. I moved here about 1 year ago, and I've kind of noticed a lot of things that I really love here compared to the US.
So today, Rachel and I have compiled our top 12 things that we like better about the Philippines compared to the US. And they're gonna kind of progressively get more important as we go, but I'll start with a pretty simple thing, and that is the music in taxis. I have discovered so much music that I love in taxis in the Philippines. People ask me where I get my ideas for my Filipino song covers that I do on YouTube, and it's actually in taxis. I hear different Filipino songs come up, and actually a lot of American songs. One of, for instance, the song that I now love that I never heard in the US is the song For the First Time by Kenny Loggins. I never heard it in the US, even though he's an American artist. Also, Honesty by Harum Scarum is one of my favorite songs, and I never heard that except in the Philippines.
The first thing I've noticed since I've been here is when I go out to eat at restaurants, specifically Filipino restaurants, everyone orders family style. So what that means is we order like 5 or 6 dishes and then everyone just shares that. But in the US, it's not common to do that. So if you go to a restaurant in the US, you get the menu, you pick what you want, and then when the food comes, you just eat that. But like no one's really supposed to like eat your food. Yeah. But even when you're just out with friends, it doesn't even have to be family. But like it's just so nice that you're sharing. It's just a different kind of vibe rather than just being like kind of closed off, and I don't know, it's different. But
okay, I can see what she meant by family style. Oh.
The number 3 thing is that the Philippines is a lot less Sioux happy than the US. And I really like the vibe that that brings to everything. There's a lot more freedom, honestly, that I feel on a day-to-day basis in the Philippines because of that lack of worry about somebody is going to sue you. To give you an example, we just went outside and we're shooting a music video. And we just hired some random dude's scooter, paid him 200 pesos, and like
you could never do that in the US.
It's true.
No, people would be so worried.
Yes, it's true. This situation, yes, and it's not just. I'm sure because he's a Caucasian American and I'm an African American, so it's like, yes, regarding the suit, yes. It's like suits. I do get it. Like I cannot just go out and shoot my videos because someone can call the cops on me.
That you would get hurt and sue them. And so I think that there's like this sort of
regarding the suing,
feeling to the Philippines in like a less too happy environment. And I love that.
The 4th thing that I've noticed since being here is that people are much friendlier to me compared to when I'm in the US. I have a little bit of a Filipino look, so maybe they gravitate towards that. But it's just so easy for me to talk to people here and meet new people and make friends. Like everyone seems to be so friendly to me.
Yeah, I think generally Filipinos are more friendly to foreigners than Americans are to foreigners. So for instance, if you're a random dude from Zimbabwe or whatever, and you like go to a party in the US, like a barbecue, and you're like the dude from Zimbabwe who just visited, I don't think people would really go out of their way to talk to you. They'd just be like, oh yeah, that's the dude from Zimbabwe who's here. Versus like here, I feel like people would go up to that guy and go, "Oh, where are you from? You're from Zimbabwe? Like, oh, what's it like there? Why did you visit the Philippines?" They'd be a lot more interested in you as a foreigner.
Okay, okay. So now, when it comes to the US, we have the North, the West, the East, and the South. So having you're a foreigner, so why did you come from Zimbabwe and all that? I think I get it because in the Philippines, I don't think they have lots of diversity when it comes to people visiting. Maybe that's why. But here in the United States, we have so many people, like many immigrants, so of course with that they're used to, oh, that's a black person, oh, that's a white person, oh, that's a Asian person, oh, that's an Asian American, that's a Caucasian American, that's an African American, that's a so I think they're used to, when you go down the street, especially in New York, once you walk down the street, you're seeing different ethnicities, different races walking down the street, so they're used to it. And
while you're there, is much more friendliness in that way.
Yeah.
Okay, number 5 is one that Rachel has not yet discovered, but I told her about it, and I think she's going to be very happy now.
Okay.
And that is 50% off bake sales at closings at bakeries in the Philippines.
No!
In the US, there are no 50% bake sales at closings. I've never come across one, at least in my entire life. But in most of the bakeries in the Philippines, especially a lot of high-end bakeries with delicious baked goods, at closing, usually about an hour before, they have a 50% off.
Oh, okay, that is...
the entire store is 50% off, and it's so cheap and delicious. So I would go and just load up with like a giant...
okay, so he's one of those that like... Okay.
Yeah, see, I've been here for almost 1 year, and I didn't know that in my entire life. Like, I love bread, I love desserts, I love cakes, like, all that stuff.
Okay.
And I've never seen, like, 50% bake sale.
Yeah.
That's really crazy to me, because they would...
Okay, now when we are looking at it this way, in the United States we have over 350 million people. In the Philippines they have 104 million people. So if you're looking at that ratio of people, yeah, if they do 50% sales, Jesus Christ, woo! Honey, some businesses will go out of business, but that's a great concept, I would say.
In the States,
but that's a great...
all the food was like really old or just about to expire.
Exactly.
You don't see that. So now that I know that, I definitely have to go and check that out.
Okay, so now will that help the business if people go and shop only at that time?
Some chain restaurants from America are much, much better in the Philippines. So, for example, I love Chili's the restaurant, and in America we would go all the time, but it started to just go really downhill. The food wasn't good, the service wasn't good. But then I came here, and it was like the service was so amazing. People were so friendly, so attentive, and then you got your food quick. It was hot. You could tell everything was fresh. Like, it really surprised me, because you would think that if it's a chain restaurant, it should just be exactly how it is in the US, but here it's like 100 times better.
Yeah, so another one for me that's the same is actually Starbucks. So in the US...
Oh my god.
Okay, you see what I'm saying? She is now basing this stuff based on her experience. But I just don't get why she said that way, that if she goes out and then the food is not fresh, especially chain restaurants. I don't know anything about... I've worked in a chain restaurant.
I rarely go to Starbucks, and I definitely would never go to Starbucks.
It was not like that when I was working there, so...
having my lunch at Starbucks, right? But here in the Philippines, I eat at Starbucks almost every other day. The food at Starbucks is awesome, and it's all different. It's actually Filipino.
Don't you like cooking?
So one of my favorite desserts in the world is banoffee, and Starbucks has awesome banoffee, which is also a Filipino dish. Starbucks in the Philippines is much better, and it's actually run by a Filipino company. It's not run by Starbucks America, so that's why Starbucks in the Philippines way better. Number 7, fairly obvious if you've had them, and that is mangoes. Mangoes in the US are not even particularly good, and here they're absolutely delicious. I could eat them every single day at every meal.
And in the US, they're actually very hard to find. Okay, the 8th thing for me is movie theaters.
I'm just looking at the reasons why they feel that the Philippines is better than the United States, than America. I like using the word United States. I don't know why, I've always used that, so I'm used to it. Okay, so I'm just looking at the reasons why. There are other things that makes the United States, America, exceptional. So hearing this, I'm like, oh, that...
Probably know that it's really expensive and you can't buy snacks because they're really expensive. Just for a box of popcorn is literally $10. For a drink, that's $5.
It's a developed country.
Already almost 1,000 pesos, like, gone just for snacks. Like, people
it's a developed country.
In snacks, whether it's in your purse or like in your jacket.
It's like in your pocket.
Yeah, but here in the Philippines, movie tickets are really cheap, and the food and the popcorn and everything is really cheap. And you don't even have to buy it at the movie theater. You can walk in
with your food,
with literally whatever you want, and they don't care.
That's nice. Now, she is saying this, right? When it comes to standard of living, it makes a lot of sense. The income she makes in the United States is completely different from what you make there in the Philippines. So if you're putting it based on your income, it makes a lot of sense why things are on the expensive side. The idea that they can go in with their food, that's nice.
Rhapsody, and all my friends in the States were like, what, you already saw it? Like, it came out, I think it was just one day earlier.
Okay.
But I don't understand why. I'm sure there's some reason.
Well, we are a day ahead here.
But
could be that.
Maybe.
But a lot of movies do come out even like a few days.
Yeah.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense because people like to open out there, then bring it back home. So
has a significant effect on them. And I'm not going to talk about this to brag at all. This is something that makes me happy. I find that there are a lot of ways to help people in the Philippines that make me feel really good and also really helps them. And it doesn't cost a lot, and it's not difficult to find. So in the US, for instance, if I was to go up to someone on the street who had like a difficult job, you know, a street cleaner or something like that, and hand them $20, it really would make no difference, and they'd almost be like, why are you giving me $20? Like,
oh my God!
Like, you know, it's nothing. Like, but here in the Philippines,
that depends on the
there are
person.
So many homeless people and so many people in difficult positions, I actually give out a lot of cash on the street. It just makes me feel good. So almost every single day.
Okay,
when
so
I'm walking, somewhere, I'll see a person that's working on. A lot of times it's recycling, and they're digging through the trash and they're finding the bottles to be able to recycle them and have money. And so I'll have 1,000 pesos in my pocket, which again is only like $20. But
you see the difference?
1,000 pesos, and their face lights up, and you can tell that it's instantly made.
Because when you use 1,000 pesos back in the Philippines, you can get more for it. You're comparing a developing country and a developed country. Of course, there are differences. I don't believe in putting down one country, especially a country you're from, because you enjoy a different country. That's just me, because I feel that every country has something that makes them unique. Now he's telling me about these giving parties because when he gives that $20 and the person is saying 1,000 pesos, it makes him feel special. It makes him feel very, very important. And sometimes that can stem from, I don't know if I should use this word, if it's right, but we call it superiority complex, where when you give someone something and you see them being down on the floor and thank you, and it makes that person feel like, I just saved that person's life. Some people have that mentality where I just saved this person's life, because if I'm giving someone $20, giving them 1,000 pesos, I don't expect them to thank me like, oh my God, thank you. It's like, oh my God, thank you so much, but not like, wow, you know, like I want to see their eyes light up because I gave them that money. No, I give without expecting anything back. That's how it should be. He has that,
and it makes me feel good.
You see,
it's just fun to be able to like help somebody so easily. And I do the same with a lot of
you hear
people
that
on the street.
so
I
easily
to beggars on the street because I feel like there's a lot of corruption and things sometimes in that.
Okay.
I'll find kids on the street and I'll just take them to restaurants. So a lot of times I'll go have a meal at a nice restaurant myself, and then I'll just walk out of the restaurant, look for some kids, and then just bring them to the restaurant and buy them the same meal. And it's really fun.
Number 10 is the opportunity to make and create deep and meaningful friendships. So I've only been here for less than a year, and I've already made an unbelievable amount of friends, and they're all so close to me, and they know pretty much everything about me in such a short amount of time.
And now that is the American spirit. That is the American spirit, because you can be working, like sometimes I'm working with my guests in the salon and we are just chatting and talking about life. Like we don't keep things closed off. Like we have open hands. So they're saying this, it depends on what part of the country they're living. I can see why.
Absolutely love and cherish, but like I've known those people my whole life, and it feels like since I moved here, I've already known these people my whole life, and it's just that easy and that quick.
Same for me. I have just as many close friends, like lifelong friends, here in the Philippines as I do in the US. And I only lived in the Philippines for about 2.5 years, and I lived in the US, most of my life. People are a little bit more open to allowing you to be a good friend of theirs, and they're like looking for good friends, versus in the US, it's like you find like a new good friend every couple of years, maybe.
Really? People here really
I don't know.
Companionship.
You see, it depends on where you live in the States.
Experiences and meeting new people. A lot of people in the US don't really. I wouldn't say a lot of people, but some people just don't really think that way. They're okay with where they are, and they're okay with who they're around.
Yep.
So they don't feel the need to I guess
go out of their way to make friends with them.
Yeah, I think it's true. Number 11 is cover bands here are in general way better. So
well, they created karaoke, so it makes a lot of sense.
Possibly the world's best singers per capita. I mean, there's just ridiculous amounts of great singers, and it is not uncommon at all to walk into a bar or club here and hear them belting out a Journey song. You see, it's literally sounding.
They created like karaoke, so
that's something that's really difficult to pull off.
Okay.
Number 12. This more applies to me, I think.
Okay.
But it's the drinking age and the nightlife and the night scene here in Manila. So in the US, you cannot drink or go out to clubs until you are 21.
Yes.
So for me, I'm 18. So being here in the Philippines, where the drinking age.
Did you guys hear that? I'm scared.
It's really fun, and compared to the States, you can't really do that. And also, when you do go out to the clubs in the States, they all close around 2 a.m.
Yes.
But here in Manila, it's kind of like the city that never sleeps of Asia.
Well, that is New York.
People party until 5.
Yes, in New York you party all day.
Maybe that's not necessarily the best thing, but it is what makes the Philippines a little bit different and a little bit more fun than the US.
So Rachel and I had an extra 2 bonus.
So she is upset with the United States for being more responsible and making the drinking age 21?
Oh,
that should not have been a reason why.
And you're probably thinking, why didn't this already make the list? But we just figured that it was so obvious.
Okay.
And that is, number 1, the beaches. The beaches here, just
so amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's no comparison to America.
Literally no comparison.
What's your favorite?
It's a developing country, of course.
Well, I haven't been to too many places, but I did go to Siargao, and that is literally unreal. Like, you won't find a place like that anywhere in the States. And I know you can't really compare because we're on an island, and that's why.
See what I'm saying?
Obvious. But it's so beautiful. Everywhere I go is so beautiful.
I do think that the Philippines has the best beaches in the world. And I've been to Thailand, to Hawaii.
I've been to Thailand, I've been to Macau, I've been to China, I've been to Malaysia. I lived in Malaysia.
Nice beaches, the Caribbean. I've been all over.
And I've lived in India too.
Has the best beaches in the world.
Yeah, I used to always want to go.
And I've been to Singapore.
Like, why do you want to go to Hawaii? It's the same as the Philippines.
Yes.
And, like, I just never understood, but after being here and, like, really seeing the beaches, it is...
And Hawaii is here in the States too. Hawaii is the United States too, so...
Out there. Again, quite obvious, we didn't want to add this to the top 12, but it's just in general true, and that is that a lot of things are way cheaper in the Philippines. There are certain things that are more expensive, but on sort of like a day-to-day basis.
Basic things that you need.
Yeah, especially if you're vacationing. There's very little that when you're on vacation here that wouldn't be cheaper. Hotel rooms,
Yeah, I can see. Yes, that makes a lot of sense.
Around is $18 for tonight.
$18.
Yeah.
It's a developing country.
So clean and it's so nice. In the States, you pay $18 for a hotel room, and you need to like sleep with a guy next to you.
Yes, that's.
Sharing your bed in prison.
Okay guys, now the reasons that they said why the Philippines is better than the United States than America, for them, these are the reasons why the Philippines is better than America. As an American, I can see some of the things they said are really like, oh, this is nice, this is interesting, this is okay, this is good. But you also have to know that there are other things, 1,000,001 things that makes America, America. You know, there's like in my head, I'm just thinking about them and I'm like, you know. You know what? I'll see you guys soon in the next video. I love you guys so much. Yeah. Okay.
Hi. Thank you.